Okay, so it's a little bit like Love Island meets Survivor with a sprinkle of Lord of the Flies. Stay with me. Best-selling author Ruth Ware is out with her new novel, and it is one that sees 5 couples heading to a remote island, all in the name of reality TV stardom. But similar to reality TV, things go majorly off the rails. So 10 people set foot on the island, but not all 10 are going to make it off. Ruth Ware is joining us in studio. What a concept for a book. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
It's really great to have you here. Congratulations, firstly, on the new book. The book is called One Perfect Couple. So we start off with 5 couples, Ruth. They're headed to this beautiful remote island, and then a storm cuts power. Things go sideways, big time. Give us the gist.
I mean, that's it, basically. No, I'm kidding. So my main character, Lila, is a scientist, and she's kind of slightly reluctantly dragged onto this reality TV show by her boyfriend, Nico, who's an aspiring actor and thinks, you know, this is going to be great for his career. So they go to this gorgeous island. Everything's picture perfect. But yeah, then on the first night, there's a storm. The electricity is cut off. The desalination plant is wrecked, so there's no fresh water. And the couples wake up the next day to find out that the island is wrecked and they've only got each other to rely on. And at this point, the reality TV show tropes kind of start to play out, but with much higher stakes.
Much higher stakes. Underline, underline. Where did this idea come from? Are you a big reality TV fan? Where did you get this concept from?
Well, the funny thing is, I'm really not, which makes me feel like a bit of a fraud. But I was doing an event with another British thriller writer, Gillian McAllister, and I can't even remember how we got onto the topic, but we were talking about reality TV. And I said, you know, it's a miracle that more of these shows don't end up in murder, because you can see how high the tensions are running. You know, the producers are really kind of ramping up the conflict.
Yes.
And Gillian said, kind of as a joke, sounds like a Ruth Ware novel. And I was like, ding!
Get to work.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you about research of this book, because there's a lot that, you know, when we talk about survival skills happening in this book, what took up your most of your time in terms of research?
Great question. I guess the biggest thing, obviously, was sort of getting the reality TV stuff right. I was lucky enough to talk to a former reality TV contestant, read some great biographies, spoke to a couple of producers. But the single thing that gave me the most trouble was, I'm trying not to say any spoilers, but there's a scene with a battery quite late on in the book, and getting the science right on the battery was so hard. It took me a really long time to figure out how I could make what I wanted to happen. So yeah, a lot of being a writer is just ringing up random people and saying, please tell me how I can do this.
Give me a play-by-play. If I write it this way, does this make sense? Yeah, exactly.
Is this remotely plausible? And luckily it was.
Of course. There's a fun little moment in the book too I want to mention. One of your characters uses a book to start a fire. Starts ripping pages out of this book. That book is The Woman in Cabin 10, which is, of course, your massive bestseller. Is that a bit of an Easter egg for fans?
It kind of was, but also I wanted to start a fire, and I thought, you know, the most plausible thing that you would have on an island was like a holiday reading book. And I just felt like I couldn't burn anybody else's book.
Oh, that's so funny.
It felt so mean, and I was like, well, I can burn my own book, I guess. So
that's hilarious.
It was a mix of both.
And speaking of The Woman in Cabin 10, it was just announced that Keira Knightley is going to be starring in the movie adaptation. What does that feel like?
Oh my gosh, just a dream come true. And, you know, I got the email a little bit before it was released, and they said, you can't tell anybody. And I was just like how am I going to keep this secret? So yeah, I did, to my credit. I managed to sit on my hands, but
that's huge news.
Oh my gosh, huge. And, you know, I was thinking back on all the amazing films she's done, and I have loved every single film that she's been in, so I take that as, like, she's got great taste.
Got one more to love coming out soon. Ruth Ware, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you.
And a reminder to everybody, the new book is called One Perfect Couple.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.